What if the exact same people you trusted laughed in your face like you were the dumbest person on earth, while you were showing them the idea that would one day make you their boss? They called it stupid, they called you delusional. They told you to stop wasting oxygen. Most people would have crawled back to their desk and cried in silence. Me. 5 years later, I walked back into that same conference room, sat at the head of the table like I owned the place, and bought the entire company that once laughed at me. And trust me, the way I made them choke on their own laughter, it was chef's kiss, dark and delicious. My name is Alex Rivera. Buckle up. This is my karma story. Let's rewind to the summer of 2020. Austin, Texas, 106 degrees outside and even hotter inside my soul. I was 27, working as a senior software engineer at Nexus Dynamics, a 180-person tech company that made boring project management software, the kind of tool people used because they hated it less than Excel. I was the quiet Asian American guy in the corner cubicle, always early, never complained, got solid 4.25 on performance reviews. Invisible, until the day I decided to become visible. For 8 straight months, I had been building something in secret, every single night after 6 p.m., every weekend, no dates, no parties, just me, energy drinks, and a dream. I called it Flow State, an AI that didn't just manage tasks, it read emotions. It predicted burnout 3 weeks before it hit. It auto-adjusted workloads, rewrote toxic emails to sound kind, and even told your boss when you needed a mental health day, without you having to beg. I had a working prototype, real data from 47 beta testers. Productivity up 47%, burnout down 68%. I had charts that looked like they came from NASA, so when the company announced their big internal innovation pitch day, I signed up. The humiliation make it hurt the day arrived. I was sweating through my only decent button-up shirt. 60 people in the room. My manager Mark Reynolds, the guy who wore Patagonia vests unironically, was smirking before I even opened my mouth. I presented for 12 minutes, I showed the demo, I showed the numbers, I showed how much money the company would save and how many employees wouldn't quit. Dead silence for 10 full seconds. Then Mark leaned back, loud enough for the whole room to hear. Alex, buddy, this is adorable, but we're not running a digital daycare. We sell project management software. Stick to what you know, kid. A few awkward chuckles. Then the CEO, Richard Thompson, 58 years old, bald, always smelling like expensive cologne and ego, let out a belly laugh and said, Jesus Christ. Alex, go back to your desk and focus on the features our paying customers actually asked for. We don't need another wellness fairy tale. The room exploded. Full laughter. Slow claps. Someone in the back yelled, good one, Alex, like it was stand-up comedy. I stood there smiling like an idiot while my soul quietly died inside. My face was on fire. My stomach felt like someone punched it. In my head I was thinking, one day I'm going to make every single one of you eat those words. With a sight of bankruptcy. Dark night of the soul. That night, I sat in my tiny apartment, lights off. Staring at the prototype on my laptop, I cried hard. The ugly kind of cry. Then I laughed. A dark, bitter laugh, and whispered to myself, well, at least now I know exactly who my enemies are. The next morning I went back to work like nothing happened. But everything had changed. I started the double life day job. Smile, nod, fix bugs. Night job. Build the company that would destroy them. I burned through $28,000 of my savings. I ate nothing but ramen in spite. I slept for hours a night for 2 straight years. And every time I heard someone in the break room still joking about Alex's stupid AI dream, I just smiled and coded harder. Cliffhanger 1. The Tide turns 18 brutal months later. The beta launched quietly on a random Tuesday. First month 11,000 users. Fourth month 92,000 paying customers. Investors started sliding into my DMIs like it was Tinder. By the end of year 2, Flow State had raised $47 million. We had 110 employees. I was on the cover of Forbes as the quiet engineer who built the future of work. Meanwhile, at Nexus Dynamics, the ship was sinking and everyone was still pretending it was fine. Clients were fleeing. Revenue dropped 40%. Layoffs started. First 25 people, then 60, then half the company was gone. Mark got demoted to senior support specialist. Richard started showing up to work, looking like he aged 10 years overnight. I watched it all from the outside, sipping my coffee like it was the finest wine. January 14th, 2025, 7:42 a.m. Email from Nexus Dynamics board. Confidential acquisition opportunity. They were desperate. They had no idea the buyer they were begging was me. I waited 12 days before replying. Let them sweat a little. Dark humor tastes better when it's aged. February 3rd, 2025, 10 a.m. Sharp, I walked into the exact same conference room on the 12th floor. Same long wooden table. Same ugly company logo on the wall. Same chairs that once held my humiliation. This time I was wearing a tailored black Tom Ford suit that cost more than Mark's monthly salary. Richard was at the head of the table, looking like a man who hadn't slept in weeks. Mark was 2 seats down, eyes wide like a deer in headlights. The second I stepped in, you could hear a pin drop. Richard forced a weak smile. Alex, holy shit, it's really you. I smiled the coldest, politest smile in human history and said, yeah, small world, huh? We sat down. I slid the term sheet across the table like I was dealing cards in a casino. The number I offered was fair, but it hurt them a lot. 3 hours of negotiation. Tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. At one point, Richard looked at me with dead eyes and whispered, 5 years ago, we really should have listened to you. I leaned back, looked him dead in the eyes, and replied with the darkest smile, yeah, you should have, but hey, at least now you get to watch me own the company you laughed me out of. Poetic, right? Mark actually looked like he was going to throw up. They signed at 1:17 p.m. I now officially owned Nexus Dynamics, the sweetest, darkest revenge first order of business. I kept Richard on as special advisor for 6 months. At $1,900 a month, less than what the janitor made. Every single morning he had to walk past the giant glowing Flow State logo in the lobby I now owned. Every day, he had to train my team on the dying system he once worshipped. I made sure he sat in the same cubicle I used to sit in. Mark sent me a LinkedIn message begging for any position. I replied with one line and a screenshot of his old comment calling my idea sci-fi nonsense. Sorry, we don't hire professional dream killers anymore. Good luck though. Then I blocked him. 5 years ago they laughed at me like I was a joke. Today I own the punchline. I never yelled. I never posted screenshots. I never bragged on social media. I just kept building in silence. Until the silence became the loudest fuck you in the room. So here's the dark truth I want you to remember. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's quiet, it's patient. It's expensive suits and ownership papers. Never let anyone's laughter define your future. Their mockery is just free motivation with extra sarcasm. If someone is laughing at your idea right now, smile politely, say thank you for the fuel, and keep building in the dark. Because one day, you might just buy the room they laughed in. Now it's your turn. Has anyone ever laughed at your biggest dream? Did you quit? Or did you use that pain as rocket fuel? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and the darkest ones get pinned. If this story hit you in the feels or made you smile a little evil, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Next week, I'm dropping an even darker betrayal story that involves a cheating spouse and a very creative use of company funds. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, keep building, keep dreaming, and never ever let them laugh you out of your destiny. I'll see you in the next one.